So let's talk about the film adaptation of Irving Berlin's White Christmas with Bing Crosby. Ho, 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 ho. This is Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. Ho, ho, ho. So greetings, my fellow YouTubers, and welcome to Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. My name's Joel, better known to you as the Big D, and this time around I bring to you a review of the 1954 musical flick White Christmas, released by Paramount, being the first film to be presented in VistaVision. Directed by Michael Curtis and starring Bing Crosby along with Kaye, Rosemary Clooney, and Vera-Allen. It features the songs of Irving Berlin, including a new version of the title song, which Crosby introduced in, 12 years before this in Holiday Inn, which I unfortunately have not seen. But I've seen this film twice now, once on TV and just more recently on Netflix. Now, of course, this film was notable for being the first film to be released in VistaVision, a widescreen process developed by Paramount that entailed using twice the surface area of standard 35mm film. This large area negative was also used to yield finer grained standard size 35mm prints. Wow. Okay, let's get started with the story, because I'm sure a lot of you have watched this. On Christmas Eve in Europe in 1944, at the height of World War II, former Broadway star Captain Bob Wallace and aspiring performer Private Phil Davis entertained the 151st Division with a soldiers' show. The men have just received word their beloved Major General Thomas G. Waverly has been relieved of his command. Waverly arrives and delivers an emotional farewell. The men send him off with a rousing chorus of The Old Man. After Waverly departs, enemy bombers attack the area and everyone takes cover. Davis shields Wallace from a collapsing wall and is wounded by debris. Wallace asks how he can pay back Davis for saving his life, and Davis suggests they become a duo act. Bob doesn't like this, but feels obliged to agree. After the war, the two make it big, first as performers, then as producers, launching a hit musical called Playing Around. They receive a letter supposedly from their old mess sergeant, Ben Freckleface Haynes, asking them to view his sister's act. They watch Bay and Judy sing at a nightclub. Phil, who likes to play matchmaker, notices Bob is interested in Bay. After the performance, the four meet and Phil and Judy immediately hit it off. Bay and Bob, however, argue about Bob's cynicism and the fact it was really Judy who wrote the letter instead of Ben. Finding out from Judy that the girl's landlord is falsely suing them for a damaged rug and has even gone so far as to call the police to get his money. Phil gives them tickets he and Bob had purchased to spend Christmas in New York City. Bob and Phil improvise a performance to buy the girls time, then flee to the train, where they now have to sit up in the club car, much to Bob's chagrin. The girls convince Phil and Bob to forego New York City and spend Christmas with them in Pine Tree, Vermont, where they are booked as performers. Upon arriving in Vermont, they find all the tourists have left due to no snow and unseasonably warm weather. They arrive at the empty Columbia Inn and are aghast to discover that General Waverly is the landlord of the hotel, has sunk his life savings into it, and is in danger of bankruptcy. Phil and Bob decide to invite some of the cast of Playing Around to Pine Tree to stage a show to draw in the guests, and include Bay and Judy in the show. Bay and Rob's romance starts to bloom. Bob later finds out that Waverly received a humiliating rejection letter to his request to rejoin the army, and determines to prove to the general he is not forgotten. Bob decides to call up Ed Harrison, another old army buddy who now has his own variety show, for help. Ed suggests they put the general on the show and make a big scene of his misfortune and Bob's kindness, which would be free advertising for Bob and Phil. Bob strongly rejects the idea. Unfortunately, the housekeeper, Emma, overheard only the first half of the conversation, which she relays to Betty, who becomes suddenly cold towards a baffled Bob. Wow. All right, now for the final act and ending. As always, you know the procedure. You have 5 seconds to stop this video. Go to the description box below and fast forward to the time below. If you've seen the movie already, please continue on. Thank you, and here we go. Okay, you've been warned. Phil and Judy stage a phony engagement, thinking Betty is trying to avoid romance because she doesn't want to leave Judy unprotected. However, this backfires when Betty accepts a gig in New York and leaves. Phil and Judy admit the truth to Bob, who becomes enraged and hurries to New York to tell Betty. They partially reconcile, but he meets up with Harrison before he has a chance to find out what was really bothering her. Yes. Well, Bay sees Bob go on Harrison's show and invite the entire 151st Division to secretly join him at Pine Tree to surprise General Waverly at Bob and Phil's expense. Realizing she was mistaken, Betty returns to Vermont just in time to be in the show. Once again, on Christmas Eve, the soldiers surprise General Waverly with another rousing chorus when he arrives at the show, bringing him to tears. During the performance, Betty and Bob become engaged, and Judy and Phil decide to go through with their own engagement as everyone sings White Christmas, a thick snowfall, at last blankets Vermont. End of story, my friends. So, what did I think of White Christmas? Well, I know I never had taken the time to even watch this, but I've realized I've come to like this now. So, anyway, yeah, this film was pretty big. It did pretty well. Film grossed 30 million at the domestic box office overall, and it was re-released in 1961, 7 years later. Anyway, yeah, it did get lots of good reviews and what have you. Now, even though some weren't impressed and what have you, but nevertheless, it still proved to be big, even though some weren't too thrilled with the use of the Vista Vision. But it has been released on various home media and what have you. Most recently, there was a Diamond Anniversary edition in 2014 when the film celebrated its 60th anniversary. It was a 4 disc set that contains a Blu-ray with extras, 2 DVDs with the film and extras, and a fourth disc of Christmas songs on CD. And these songs are performed individually by Crosby, Clooney, and Kaye. There was also a stage adaptation of the musical titled Irving Berlin's White Christmas that premiered in San Francisco in 2004, the year of the film's 50th anniversary, and has played in various venues in the US. Anyway, the musical played a limited engagement on Broadway from November of 2018 until January of the following year. And it got played in Europe for some years too. Anyway, I must say, the film does have some pretty good music and what have you. I really do like a lot of these good songs, including the theme, which may be new, but I'm cool with that. Let's see, Sisters, that was pretty good. Oh, yeah, just so much stuff. The choreography in this was really good too. I really like that. But anyway, I gotta say, it was Bing Crosby and Danny Kaye who really stole the show, but don't worry, I like the ladies' performance as well. Bing Crosby was absolutely really good as Bob, and Danny Kaye as Phil. They were both good. And as for the ladies, Rosemary Clooney was really good as Bay, and Vera-Allen as Judy. Very good. The rest of the cast includes Dean Jagger as Major General Tom Waverly. Mary Wicks plays Emma Allen. See, and let's see. There's also Johnny Grant, John Barcissa. No, Barcia, sorry. My mistake. I'm sorry, I mispronounced it. And Whitfield. Yeah, it's got some pretty good cast members. The direction in this was pretty good. Michael Curtis's direction. Let's see. Of course, the music score by Van Cleve. Pretty good. Of course, Irving Berlin did the music and lyrics to the songs and what have you. But anyway, I really liked the atmosphere and that took place in. Well, I guess I realized this was another holiday flick I never took the time to watch until just more recently because I watched it for the first time last year on TV and then again just more recently on Netflix. So anyway, with a real good cast, some great songs, great choreography, direction's pretty good, the story isn't too bad. So in the end, would I recommend White Christmas? Well, I'd say sure, go ahead, give it a try if you haven't. I think this is a holiday flick I'm sure you will come to love. So anyway, what are your thoughts on White Christmas? You can tell me in the comments section below. If you like this video, click the like button, subscribe to my channel, and be a part of the Big D Nation. Join me next time when I bring to you a review of the 2001 remake of Ocean's 11 with George Clooney and an all-star cast, which is turning 20 tomorrow. Anyway, thanks for watching, and if you like this, you may want to consider checking out my reviews for these other flicks and what have you. In the upper left-hand corner is my review of another great holiday classic, and that's It's a Wonderful Life from 1946. The upper right-hand corner is my review for another film that actually came out the same year this did, and that was the first remake of A Star Is Born with Judy Garland, which was probably my favorite of all of them. Or if you'd like, go to the bottom left-hand corner and see my recent review of the original Ocean's 11 from 1960, starring 5 members of the Rat Pack. That includes Frank Sinatra, Joy Bishop, Dean Martin, Sammy Davis Jr. And the bottom right-hand corner is the button you can click to subscribe. If you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc., then I'm your guy. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'm the Big D saying, see ya.